Welcome back, everyone. This is Chanel with Java Devotions, and you, are taking part in our first ever book club. I'm a big lover of books. I've always been a lover of books, and one of my favorite Christian classics is Pilgrim's Progress. And I thought, what better way to share my love of this really incredible, uh, in a lot of ways, prophetic story with all of you. So definitely, if you have the book, read along with me. If you have any questions as we're going through the book, definitely put them down in the comments, and I will be happy to address them in the comments, or maybe do a video on it. But we left off with Evangelist telling Christian the path that he needed to go on. So now we're picking up on the next little mini chapter called the In Pursuit of Christian. Oh, and just so you know, I am reading from the modern day version of Pilgrim's Progress. So here we go. In Pursuit of Christian. Now, Christian had not gone far from his own home when his wife and children came out running, pleading and begging him to come back home. But he put his hands to his ears and ran on, crying, "Life, life, eternal life." He never looked behind him, but ran toward the middle of the field. His neighbors also came out to see him run. As he ran, some mocked, others threatened, and some cried after him to return. Two of the neighbors, obstinate and pliable, set off to bring him back by force if necessary. By this time, Christian was a good distance ahead of them, but they were determined to catch him, and eventually did. Christian turned to the men and asked, "Why have you come after me?" The men had to stop and catch their breath from running so hard. "We have come to persuade you to return with us." One of the things that I've noticed in my own Christian walk, and I'm sure you've noticed with yours, is that whenever you set your face to really pursue and seek after God, there's all kinds of distractions, and people who really didn't have anything to do with you before all of a sudden have all kinds of opinions about what you need to do and how to, in terms of your walk with Christ, or telling you you're crazy, you're going maybe a little bit too far. Satan will use any and everybody to bring you back to where he had you before. And it's something that works with, unfortunately, quite a few people. But in this story, we're going to see how it didn't quite work out. Christian turned to the men and asked, "Why have you come after me?" Oh, okay. But Christian stood his ground. "I can no longer live in the city of destruction. I was born and raised there, but now I know what kind of city it is. My eyes have been opened and I know the truth. Why don't you both come with me instead? Otherwise, you will die in this city and sink down below the grave into a place that burns with fire." "What?" Obstinate said, astonished. "And leave our families and the comforts of life behind us?" Remember what Jesus said, "Whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. And whoever," what is it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he said. "Yes," said Christian, "everything that you leave behind will not even compare to the smallest portion of what I'm seeking to enjoy. If you come with me and persevere, you'll find more than enough. I'm telling you the truth. Come with me and see." Obstinate was curious and asked, "What are the things you're searching for that can't be found in this world?" "I'm searching for joy that does not fade," replied Christian, "a secure inheritance in heaven that cannot be corrupted and will be given at the appointed time to those who earnestly search for it." He held out the book in his hand. "Don't take my word for it. Read it in the book." Remember, there is this scripture where it says that the Lord was, I was found by those who were not searching for me. That he reached out his hands all day long to an obstinate people, and the ones who ended up searching for him were the ones who found him. And that's the amazing thing about God. He doesn't make it too hard, where if you have a heart to find him, he will find them. And the thing about it is that he will send his spirit, and he will place seeds into those individuals so that they begin to get like a hunger and thirst to find him anyway. And once they get that hunger and thirst to be found by him, he will move heaven and earth. He already has, to make sure that you reach the end goal of finding him. All right. So Obstinate threw up his hands and quickly dismissed Christian. Nonsense. Put away your foolish book. Are you coming back with us or not? Christian shook his head. No, I will not. I put my hand to the plow and will not turn back. Obstinate motioned to Pliable. Let's go home without him, Pliable. There's no convincing a fool once they believe themselves wiser than all their family and friends. But Pliable did not move. Instead, he seemed to be considering Christian's offer. Let's not be too quick to judge, Christian, said Pliable. If he's telling the truth, then what he's searching for is far more valuable than anything we have here. I think I'm inclined to go with him. Obstinate was dumbfounded. What? You can't be serious. Don't follow a fool like him. Come back with me. Don't listen to him, Christian, urged Pliable. Come with me and you'll discover the things that I just spoke of and so much more too. He extended the book to Pliable. Read the truth for yourself in this book that has been fully confirmed with the blood of him who wrote it. Pliable did not take the book, but instead looked at his friend Obstinate and said, I think that I will go along with Christian and share my fate with his. He then turned excitedly to Christian and said, Do you know the way to this glorious place? I've been told by a man named Evangelist to hurry to that little gate in front of us, where we will receive further instructions and will be told how to find the way. Pliable was enthusiastic. Well, then what are we waiting for? Let's get going. While the two of them took off together as fast as they could for the gate, Obstinate stood in disbelief and yelled after them, I'm going back home, and refused to be misled by you fools. Next chapter, a conversation with Pliable. In my dream, I saw Obstinate go back home while Christian and Pliable set off to cross the field, talking as they went. Pliable, I'm so happy that you decided to come with me, said Christian. If Obstinate could only understand the dangers and terrors that await him, he would not have turned his back on us so easily. I'm sure that's true. Now, Christian, pressed an eager Pliable, since it's just the two of us, tell me more about all the things we will find in our search. Christian once again reached for his book. I can understand it in my head, but for some reason I find it difficult to talk about. However, I know I can find the answers to all your questions in this book. And you're confident the words in your book are true? Asked Pliable, pointing to Christian's book. Absolutely, said Christian without hesitation. The book was made by him who cannot lie. So remember, God's not a man that he can lie. That's good enough for me. So tell me more about these things in your book. Christian eagerly began. The book tells us of a world with no boundaries and a life that never ends. Amazing. What else does it say? It says that we will receive a crown of glory and robes that will make us shine like the sun. That's incredible. Does it say anything else? Yes. That we'll never grieve again, and that the king of the place will wipe every tear from our eyes. Wonderful, replied Pliable. Then he paused and grew concerned. But who will we meet there, and what will they be like? We will be met by angels and tens of thousands of all the saints in robes so bright that our eyes will dazzle just to look at them. There will be those that have gone before us in this world and have stood for the faith and suffered greatly, including being burned on the stake, thrown to wild beasts, and drowned in the seas, all because of their love for the Lord. They will not harm us, but will greet us with love because they walk with God. Although fascinating. It did not seem to alleviate Pliable's concern. That's all very interesting, but what will be our share in all of this? And what will it cost? The Lord of that land has promised that if we are truly willing to receive our inheritance, He will give it to us freely, explained Christian. Pliable let out a sigh of relief. This is very good news, Christian. Come on, let's pick up our pace and get there quicker. I'm trying, said Christian, moving as fast as he could. But this load on my back slows me down. And we're going to end it there. One of the things that kind of stood out for me, and we'll see how this plays out. I know how it will play out. But it reminds me of when it comes to Pliable, how those who hear the initial promises of Christianity, they cling to that seed, they cling to that word really quickly. But we'll see how long he's able to cling to that word, to those promises. And to be honest with you, if someone tells me that part of the faith is suffering greatly, possibly being burned at the stake and thrown to wild beasts and drowned in the seas, I don't know if I would consider that to be a really good marketing point, to be honest. But at the time this book was written, there was severe persecution to the saints in England. And just like there's severe persecution throughout the world to the saints, to have the testimony of Christ means the world will not accept you. Whether they choose to not accept you by excluding you from your clubs, by excluding you from friendships, by maybe even beating you or making you lose your home, or whatever the cost may be, what you gain in return far outweighs the cost. And God is faithful. If you have suffered loss of family or things, or even the life of someone that you love, He has promised to wipe away every tear from your eye. And He has promised that if you have lost family or friends, that those who've lost family, He will replace it. He is faithful in all that He does to give you exactly what it is that you need. Whether it's family, whether it's acquaintances, whether it's strength and grace to be able to persevere through persecution. So let me know what you think in the comments. Some of the things that you may want to consider dwelling in is how obstinate and pliable went out of their way to try to convince Christian to come back. Has that ever happened to you in your faith? And if it has, what was the outcome? So definitely something to meditate on in the coming week. Like I said, if you have any questions or just insights on what we read, definitely put them down in the comments below. In the meantime, I hope you have an amazing rest of the week. And until next time, bye-bye.